Bonjour à toutes et à tous et bienvenue pour cette nouvelle vidéo de la série Les Français informels. Welcome everyone to this new video of the series Les Français informels, learn informal French to communicate and understand real-life language better. This video is a part 2 of the series. The part 1 is already on the channel and there are more parts to come, so if you're interested, you may want to stick around for that. The first expression I've prepared for you today is the verb larguer quelqu'un. Larguer quelqu'un. This verb has what in the English language is called the direct object of the verb, and in the French language it's called le complément d'objet direct. This means that with somebody does not have the pronoun à quelqu'un, but it's just quelqu'un. Let's look at how the direct object of the verb can be used in the French language with the example that also illustrates the use of the expression. Elle ne le larguera jamais, elle aime trop pour le faire. In this sentence, we have 3 examples of the direct object of the verb, which in the French language, again, I will remind you, is called les compléments d'objet direct. Le larguera, l'aime, le faire. Let's try to translate it, having in mind that larguer quelqu'un means to break up with somebody. Le larguera jamais. Ne le larguera jamais. She will never break up with him. She loves him too much to do it. And the other part of the dialogue says, mais c'est toujours lui qui pourrait la larguer. But it could be him who could break up with her. C'est toujours lui qui pourrait la larguer. As you can see, the direct object of the verb means that break up with her could be translated as la larguer, and break up with him would be les larguer. As you can see, this expression is in the informal register of their language, and there's also the formal register and the neutral register. How could we convey breaking up with somebody in the neutral register? The answer to that is with the expression rompre avec quelqu'un. So the second sentence of the example could go as mais c'est toujours lui qui pourrait rompre avec elle. The next expression is faire gaffe à quelque chose, which can be translated as to be careful, to watch out for something. I have 2 examples that illustrate how to use it. The first one is in the imperative mode, which means that we are giving somebody an order or a strong suggestion. Fais gaffe au ballon. Si tu ne la rattrapes pas, on perdra les matchs de basket. Fais gaffe au ballon. Si tu ne le rattrapes pas, on perdra les matchs de basket. Watch out for the ball. Watch out for the ball. If you don't catch it, we're gonna lose the match. We're gonna lose the basketball match. And the other example is, c'est ma faute. Je ne faisais pas gaffe au carrefour et je me suis fait renverser par une voiture. It's my fault. I wasn't paying attention on the sidewalk. It's actually on the crossroads. I wasn't paying attention on the crossroads and a car ran over me. So you can see the order of the sentence in both of the languages are kind of very different. The first one is je me suis fait renverser par une voiture, and the best way to translate this into English would be a car ran over me. So in the French language, I use the construction, the expression se faire avec un verbe en infinitif, which means that we conjugate se faire and then we just add a verb, and that means that we didn't cause the action but that it happened to us. And the the English language does not like this kind of way, so it just already says that the car was what happened. The car ran over us. But let's go back to the informal expression faire gaffe à quelque chose. Here we say that je ne faisais pas gaffe au carrefour. Au carrefour. The pronoun a avec les. O. Au carrefour. And when it comes to the entire expression, the neutral way to say it would be c'est ma faute, je ne prêtais pas attention. Or, c'est ma faute, je ne faisais pas attention au carrefour et je me suis fait renverser par une voiture. And to sound less informally with the end of the sentence, je me suis fait renverser par une voiture, we could say j'ai été renversé par une voiture. The next expression is a verb filer. Filer means to leave suddenly, to leave a place suddenly. Let's look at the example. Les voleurs ont filé avant que la police soit arrivée. The thief ran away before the police had come. Or came, before the police came. As you can see on the screen, there's a part that's that I didn't read. It's ne. Ne in the French language is called ne expletive. I didn't read it because it would make the sentence sound very weird. As you can see here, the verb filer is clearly informal, and ne expletive, is something that the French language accepts in the written language and also in a rather formal register. So I just wanted to put it here for you to realize that those details really tell us what register we're using at the moment. So ne expletive in this sentence is used with avant que, and there's no pas with the ne, okay? So it's ne soit arrivé and not ne soit pas arrivé. Ne soit arrivé. When it comes to using ne et pas in the informal way, just to use negation, the informal oral French accepts not saying ne, but never omitting the pas. So how could we negate the first part of the sentence? Le voleur a filé. The best and correct way would be le voleur n'a pas filé. But in the informal way, a French person, a French speaker would say le voleur a pas filé. Let's look at another example of the expression filer. J'ai piqué une crise de nerfs et j'ai dû filer de la pièce. J'ai piqué une crise de nerfs et j'ai dû filer de la pièce. Translating the sentence could go as I got an anxiety attack and I had to leave the place suddenly, or I had to immediately leave the room. La pièce can be translated into many things, and it also depends on the context, but it's not really an informal word, so we're not going to be focusing on this here. I'm just going to highlight that it has many meanings, and that in this sentence, in this context, it means a room. Let's look at another expression in the informal register of the French language. This one is a reflexive verb se barrer. Se barrer can be translated as to get out. An example would be J'en ai marre de toi, barre-toi. I'm so sick of you, get out. So remember, there's the informal register to which this expression applies. Then there's the formal register, and then there's the in-between situation where we can find expressions that could be used technically in both of the registers, and they just don't convey the meaning about what register this is. So it can be used in situations that go beyond the casual conversation. So the neutral register, how could we change this sentence to make it sound more neutral in terms of registers? We could use the reflexive verb s'en aller, s'en aller. How would we say that in this example? J'en ai marre de toi. Va-t'en, va-t'en. Let's look at another example of the informal expression se barrer. Il m'a dit de me barrer quand il s'est fâché contre moi. Il m'a dit de me barrer quand il s'est fâché contre moi. S'est fâché contre moi, de me barrer. Il m'a dit de me barrer quand il s'est fâché contre moi. So here it's me barrer. He told me to get out when he got angry with me. He told me to get out when he got angry with me. And coming back to the neutral reflexive verb s'en aller, it would be il m'a dit de m'en aller quand il s'est fâché contre moi. Another example of the informal register in the French language is an adjective lourd, lourd. But as you can see on the screen, there's also relou, relou, lourd. They kind of sound similar, but are not really similar, and that's because the second adjective on the screen is actually in verlan, in the argot that's called verlan. This means that we take a word and pick it apart to the point where we have syllables and we inverse their order. So we have lourd and we inverse that into relou. And you can also observe this in the name verlan. Verlan is an inverted form of l'envers. À l'envers means inverted. Coming back to the adjective lourd and relou, both can be translated as annoying and tiring, and both are informal. Another informal ways of saying that something is annoying can be an adjective embêtant, or in the feminine form embêtante, or another adjective in the informal register, which means casse-pied. The first one, embêtant, is used with objects. Une chose embêtante, something that's annoying. And the second one, casse-pied, is an adjective that's usually used to describe people. So it's une personne casse-pied. Somebody who's a pain in the ass. An example of the adjective lourd or relou is il n'arrête jamais de me parler de cette connerie. Quel minable relou. This sentence, or both sentences, are just packed with informal words. The first one is obviously relou, but we also have cette connerie and minable. La connerie means nonsense crap. It's a noun, and another noun is un minable or inminable, which means a loser. And then me parler de cette connerie, quel minable relou. We could kind of change it up to sound less informal, and that would sound il n'arrête jamais de me parler de cette bêtise, quel idiot énervant. Il n'arrête jamais de me parler de cette bêtise, quel idiot énervant. They never stop talking about this nonsense. What annoying losers. But I guess in the English language, someone would say something like, what a fucking loser, what fucking losers they are. Such fucking losers, I don't really know. But just to observe how this can be used in the French language. So we have relou, which is an adjective, and we can combine it with an informal noun minable. Loser and annoying. And then there's a final expression for you today, which is very interesting. It's kind of like an abbreviation, perso. As you can see, it can either be translated as an adjective personal, or it can be translated into an adverb personally. So we have in the French language, it's personnellement, which in the informal register becomes perso, or the adjective personnel in the feminine and masculine form, which also becomes perso. An example of the of personnellement is très perso, j'avoue que t'es meilleur que moi en ça. Très perso, j'avoue que tu es meilleur en moi. Ouais. Très perso, j'avoue que tu es meilleur que moi en ça. Personally, I admit that you're better in this than me. And then, how could we say perso without... how could we actually say this to sound pretty formal? We could say à titre très personnel. A neutral way would just be personnellement or de ma part. And to sound kind of very formally, would say à titre très personnel or à titre personnel. The très in either of the examples is not obligatory. And then the adjective personnel qui devient perso. Il y a que du spam dans mon courrier perso. So we have here the personal inbox. There's only spam in my personal inbox. Personal inbox meaning that we don't use the mail address for work purposes, but just for personal purposes. And then we have il y a que, which is an informal way of saying il n'y a que, there's only. And so to sound less informal, we could say il n'y a que du spam dans mon courrier personnel. So I hope that's clear for this expression. Merci de ton attention. Abonne-toi pour ne pas rater les vidéos prochaines. Tu peux t'attendre à la continuation de cette série sur le français informel. Et les vidéos prochaines traiteront sur le verbe foutre, qui est très populaire dans le langage familier. Il y a plein d'expressions avec ces verbes que tu dois comprendre. Si tu as des suggestions, laisse-les dans les commentaires au-dessus. Thank you for your attention. Subscribe to never miss future videos, and you can expect a continuation of the series about the informal register of the French language. The next video is going to be about the verb foutre, which is very popular in terms of the informal register of the French language. There are many expressions that exist around this verb. And if you have any suggestions about my channel, the way I make videos, what I could improve, or what I could make videos about, you can leave all those suggestions in the comments down below. Thank you again, and bye.